I'm doing a project tonight uh, by request. A new viewer that just got the machine had asked me about putting lettering with a number, if she could cut it out of fabric, and then put the number on the hoop and then embroider around it. So I said, not actually. I said the embroidery machine is directed. It's not user controlled in a sense. It's user directed. So what I'm doing now is I made up in my digitizing software. I have several. This one I made in Generations Plus, and I put a PES file in here. It's about 5,000 stitches, and you put the USB in the USB port. That's the way to import new designs into the machine, aside from the square cards that I never use. They're sort of expensive basically, and they only hold one design. Well, these will hold 200 designs. These USBs, this happens to be a 2 gigabyte, will hold 200 separate files. When I mean separate, you can't create a folder in your computer and then put 10 designs in that, another folder, another 10 designs. The machine will not read that. It has to be a separate PES file sitting alone, surrounded by other separate PES files, of course, in the memory. So right now I plugged it in. So to get it out, you hit the icon. It's retrieving the data. Here's several things that I have on there. This one particular thing right here doesn't look like much, but basically here's what it is. And believe it or not, this machine embroidered this whole thing out right here. It's called the Pet Sprayer. And then also, oh yeah, this is the same one, the Pet Sprayer. I made it a little bit smaller over here. So, basically you can see how small you can get something. Alright, so now let me find the design. There it is right there. So you tap it, you unpack it, press the little pocket, excuse me, there it is. Alright, now, so I just happen to have this machine set for the Brother embroidery numbering system. Now, the way to do that, if you don't know what I'm talking about, is you hit the little icon that shows your page. And you use these line select keys. Now it just so happens it came up to 1, 2, 3 embroidery. Now what that means is, for those who don't know, all right, here in this book that comes with the machine, book reference, you have thread conversion charts here. Now, color name, this is a color name here. Then of course you look at embroidery column. It shows you the color and it shows you the associated number. Country is another style. Madeira, Quality Neons, Madeira Rayons, the Sulky, and the Robinson Anton. Right? Robinson Anton has many colors, and I'm going to show you their actual chart. This is the chart. I purchased this chart. Now, what's unique about this chart, talk about, if you really want to do artwork, just going to zoom in. I'm just going to show you up close that what you actually, I got my enlarging lens. This is as close as I can get. All right, you could actually see the threads wrapped around a little piece of cardboard. The threads actually wrapped around it, and basically that I'm just gonna, this is learning, right? Some people say, hey, Vince, get to the point. Some people do that with me. All right, so some you go in. Oh, sorry. There you go. This is the actual thread wrapped around cardboard. Okay, now that's rayon. Now, what's different about rayon compared to what I'm using right now, the polyester? The polyester holds up very good to washing, to ultraviolet light, everyday wear and tear. The shininess of the rayon is unique in its own right. Okay, so let's go back to the thing on hand here. All right, so just say, for example, you don't want embroidery, you want to use sulky. So you have to select these. Country, remember I told you country, Madeira poly, Madeira rayon, sulky. So if you want to use the sulky, that's what you would do. We select that. Name of color, you could just do the name of color. And then when you go back, the first thing the machine will say, put a yellow in, bright yellow or dark yellow. So the fact that I have the actual number system in my machine, I'm gonna go, I go to 1, 2, 3, and then I go back to this, and I'll save it like that. So now we're back to here. Now, to collect your colors, some designs have 14 different color changes. So the first of 2 happens to be 205, which is this color. It's a bright yellow. Do you want to see the second one? So you can line them up. You color check. 1 of 2. 2 of 2 is 007. So 007 is a blue. I just happen to get the 019 blue. I picked it up. I could use any color I want, but that's the recommended color according to when I designed it. Alright, so let's go back number 1. Alright, we'll leave it like that. So now I got the yellow in there. I brought it down here, 1, 2, over the top, down, up 3, over 4. Presser foot has to be up in order to open up the tension washers to get your thread down between the tension washers. Now I bring it down to 5, I bring it down to 6. 6 is the little right above the needle. Right above the needle. Let's see. Yeah, I'm picking on it right now. Alright, the thread goes behind that. Goes behind this hook. Now there is a little detent, so when you pull it to the left, you'll feel a little click. Sometimes on a machine, if you're sort of rough, that might bend a little bit, so you don't get the distinct click to the left. All right, once you do that, you bring it through 7, which there's a little deal like this, the thread goes in there, and then it goes right into here, which is the actual number 7. And then it holds in here, and then right to the left of the machine is the cutoff. You can do the cutoff. So now, now I'm going to thread it. Now, as I tell everybody every so often on these brothers, the auto threader, which I'm just going to show you here. See that? Not the white part, but the mechanism drops off, actually falls out. Now, excuse me, let me pass the camera here. Okay. Now, here's what the parts look like right here. 3 parts to the auto threader. And you might see, if you're lucky, you might see it like this together, or you might see these apart. All right? So this, I have a video on this. This shows you how this metal goes into there, this dog bone goes into there and over that, and then you push this here, and this metal arm comes around like you see over here. The dog bone comes around, and then it winds up looking like this. And right here is where the auto threader rod goes. You can see the 2 little wing cutouts. There's a pin, a through pin that aligns this with the rod, and you push it up. Now it's only a press fit, so every so often what I do, which I'm going to show you right now, is I put my finger, here's the number 5, I put my finger right behind the number 5, and you just, just push up, wiggle it, push up, just to make sure that the shaft is even with the bottom of the mechanism. Alright, so now I bring the lever down on the side like that, and it goes right through. It's no problem. You might need a tweezer. Alright, now I pull about 5 inches out. You're supposed to the book, go through the little hole. Now sometimes on a complicated design that it was 45,000 stitches, sometimes you have 43 to 45 thread changes. It doesn't mean 45 colors. It means that you could use the black a couple of times, you could use the blue a couple of times, depending on the way the design was put together and layered. Alright, so right now I have enough there. It's enough to pick the bobbin up. Now, before I go any further, talking about bobbins, let me hold this tab with my fingers, hold this, and I remove the tab, I remove it from the far end. Hold this and lift the far end, it comes out easier. I just want to check my bobbin. Good thing I looked. Good thing I looked. Yeah, you gotta see through. Alright, that was not sufficient. Now, people do ask, I don't wind my own stuff, but this is what I use. And I get this, I get this thread, and I get this stuff and a lot of my stabilizer from where I bought the machine, which is right here. It's Mr. Vaca and Mrs. So. They're nearby. It's a family-run business owned by Joe and Lisa, and they have their adult children working with them. Anyway, I take one of these out, and the machine shows you which way the bobbin turns, counterclockwise. Counterclockwise. Which would be like this. Now you put this in, and you have a plastic guide right there, and the thread, there's a little arrow that shows you the thread goes behind that guide, and you pull it into the groove and around the groove, and you could pull it, make sure it's unwinding the correct way, which it is, and there's a cutter right here. Okay? And it's not like a sewing machine where you have to pick up the, drop the needle and pull the thread up. This does it automatically. Okay, so now let me put my hoop back, and what I'm doing is I have a medium tearaway stabilizer here, tight, and I use white denim. Okay. If you had to, even though my presser foot is up, you could go a little higher against the spring tension. For some reason, maybe you got something that's thick, you're trying to hoop, then you hear the click, right? And like I said, I leave the thread. I'm trying to find my different tools. I leave the thread just hanging, and I don't go through. Now, when you press the foot down, you get the green light. It'll do a couple of stitches. It'll lock the bobbin around it. And usually what I do, and the reason why I do this, if the first thread happens to be dark blue, and just say the second one is light yellow or light pink, and you leave the dark blue laying there without clipping it, you will see the dark blue through one layer of yellow over it, and you'll never get it out. All right, so here's my method. I hit go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, it pulled it down sufficient. Good. It just left a half inch up. Now, I made this design up myself in Generations Plus digitizing software, and I saved it in PES format. I saved it in the program in case I have to modify it, and I saved it also on this USB. These USB flash memory sticks, when you get them new, or if you have one that you want to use for the machine, format it. Go to my computer, you plug it in, the computer identifies it, gives it a letter. What I usually do is I'll right click on that letter, and it'll open a menu, and the menu will say, among other things, rename. I rename it, I call it whatever you want, but I call it brother number 2, this particular one that I'm using, and I also have a brother number 1. It helps me to index things, whenever I'm making notes. Just say I do this sample, just say I screws up, something's not right. Alright, what I'll do is I'll write on it what I'm not happy with, and then I'll write one layer of stabilizer, denim fabric, and just say what I don't like is the font's too big, or it was out of a line, whatever you don't like. Put the date. If you have a stitch count, put that down. Put the name of the file. And then, if you want, put it in a loose leaf book so that you could find things that you have trouble with, certain fabric that turned out nice, and just you could do a sample if you just happen. If you're doing a towel and it turns out nice, of course you're not going to put the towel in the loose leaf book, but if you were to find, say, a similar washcloth, maybe you could just do partially the design on it, and and just sort of glue it down, or a portion of it that you like, and keep it in your book and say these are the settings and so forth. Now ordinarily when you get these machines, you don't have to adjust any tension of the bobbin or upper tension. And I get a lot of questions. People are having issues and they want to know, should they adjust the bobbin, adjust the upper tension. What I found is that when I had a problem with tension, I was doing a bib for my grandson, and I made the name in blue like this, and white bobbin, of course. The bobbin thread should not show in the blue, but this was 50% of the blue had white in it. So, of course, I wasn't happy with it. And what I tried doing, the first thing was screwing around with the tension, put another piece of fabric in it, the same thing. White was coming up. I tried different tension settings of the bobbin, thinking the bobbin tension was too loose, and the white bobbin wasn't holding the blue thread in the center of the fabric like it normally should. And actually that was what was happening. So when I tried it 2 or 3 times to get the same result, I got a warning that my bobbin was low. So I took the bobbin out, put a brand new bobbin in, and it just so happens it was in the middle of the design of my grandson's name. And lo and behold, with the new bobbin full, I had perfect blue lettering. Perfect blue lettering. So I redid the whole bib thing I was making, and it came perfect. So I knew then that the default bobbin setting usually on these things is 0.0. When you get it, there is a menu that you can go in there and you could tweak it, minus 0.2, minus 0.3, but I don't recommend it. Make a note to yourself that if in doubt, change the bobbin. And a bobbin that has not too much thread on it, like 25% of the thread, will have less tension than a bobbin that's full, 3/4 full, or half full. So let that be a word to the wise. And I try to pass that on. So far, it looks nice. The word on the bottom was an example that a nice lady gave me. She emailed me a photo of it looked like a jersey for some kind of sport with a number on it, and these words were on it, you know. So what I did was I made it up in my software. Okay, so now I got to change the color. So go, all right, press the foot up, and the machine cuts the yellow. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the yellow. And what I do is you could clip it here. You could clip it here. One person told me I should clip it and then pull the thread out in the same direction that it normally travels, because I was doing just the opposite. I was pulling the thread from the needle back out. Alright, so these spools have capturing. You pull this out, put the thread in, and it holds it nice. See, when you pick them up, here's the numbering system. And I'm just going to give you a little quick eye. It comes in a box, that you see down there, that box, and the box has two drawers, and each one of those cubby holes has a number, and you can see some of the numbers. You can see over here, and they are sequential. Over there you'll see black. Black happens to be 900. The one top left happens to be white, which is 001. I happen to know that. Red is 800. So that is the brother numbering system. That's called embroidery, that particular style. Alright, so now it's asking for actually, what happened here? Let's see. Alright, now I gotta do number 2. Here. I had it in the wrong mode. I had it in the mode where I was checking the colors. That's why it didn't automatically go to 2 and tell me that I need 007. So I happen to be putting in 019. Okay? So, while you got the red light, grip this and just pull it out, throw it away. It's about 1.5 feet that you're wasting. Alright, pull this out. So let me go up a little bit. For those, you see in the background on the left, I work with a monitor, and I look at my monitor as I'm working just to see how my recording is right there. So now you see my hand in the monitor. All right. So here goes the blue. All right, another thing I do not do, I do not use these on these. The cone feeds beautifully. You have nothing but trouble with that little white washer. When you first start embroidering using the white washer, while you're looking at everything else, the thread will get caught around the spool pin, and all of a sudden you'll get a warning, check your upper thread, and you'll say, oh, what did I do? I just got the machine. By the way, I got trouble. I don't know. Alright, so I went through. Now, where my hand is back here, there's a cutter. I cut it. And now, I do the threading. Went right through. Pull out, like I said, about 5 inches. Get yourself a green light. Machine stopped where it's ready for the second color, but it will position itself. So now let me just hit the green. We do a couple of threads. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can stop it right there. It doesn't hurt nothing, and just clip that little excess, right? And you don't mess nothing up. I do that all the time. There you go. The software that I have is very good. It's putting an underlay. Does the underlay first. The color, that particular color, is almost a gold looking. That looks nice. It looks nice on velvet. This is done by this machine on velvet, red velvet. And here's another design I made. Red velvet. With sort of a gold, nice look. Oops, sorry. Trying to give you a better look. We got a backlight on. Now you see over here, and well, you can't see it, but between the letters, you have jump stitches. See there? Now you notice one jump stitch going right into the blue, and I should have trimmed that. Of course, it's darker, so chances are it'll cover that, but it's hard to get those out once they're under and sewn in. So that was something that I overlooked. I could have clipped it. You know, that was just to connect the upper with the lower. See, here's where it ended, you know, and then the machine moved down over here. Okay, the machine says we're finished sewing. Alright, put the backlight off. There we go, finish sewing, hit OK. That's it. So now hold this outboard and then lift up here. Comes out easier. You could pick, oh, I got a green light, you gotta pick this up. It's gotta be red. I'm gonna leave the thread in right now. I'm not sure what, I'm not sure what this means, but anyway, the lady had that on a picture that she gave me. Now here's a nice scissor. These are made in Italy. The Ginger. And when when I found out that they stopped making this model, I bought 3 of them on eBay. No, these are very nice, made in Italy, and has a very nice design. What I like about it in particular, not that I got the biggest fingers, but I do have a man's hand, and very nice. I can't do this with the ones that come with the machine, but the other thing is that, you know, they sit very nice. And I also bought the one for the applique, you know, where it cuts underneath the applique. If I'm saying it correctly. I never made one. All right, folks. Vince Curie, and I thank you for watching. Little